sound. We got some video.
Don't get emotional before.
I ain't emotional. We got a mic check.
Check.
Now, are you looking for the newest, the fastest growing, the most raw, the most uncensored, and the most uncut podcast out right now? Hey, stop right here. You're in the right spot. Hey, do me a favor. That little bell right there, click it. Click that little bell. It'll let you know when we drop new videos, all right? And save it for the booth, baby. Let's go.
Let's do this.
Lady D in the building.
Hey,
Lady D here.
fellas. Of course.
I know. I'm a likable person. You too, though. You been all right?
I've been good, yes.
Right.
Lots of changes in the world.
Looking fresh. I hope they're positive. I hope they're positive
of course.
vibes.
Of course.
Good.
I always
Feeling
keep it
today?
light. I feel good. How about you?
Wonderful.
Where
How
you
about
been at? We missed you.
You know, I've been off in my Lady D-dom full hermit mode.
Conjuring up a plan to take over the world.
Making up a master plan, because ain't nothing but sweat inside my hand.
Hey, I heard that. So, we're going to get right into it. Roe versus Wade. I know we did this one before, but Lady D has a different style of her own and a very, very strong opinion. And then we'll get into our little clip, which Lady D found funny, but let's go. Now, I'm sure you've seen you've seen Punk's clips speaking on Roe versus Wade. Any opinions on his stance of equality?
None of it surprised me. In a previous pod, he shared something with me that was really profound, and I had never thought about it in this way. And he was saying how his wife, was the person that could bring his children forward. And I see that you value life. I see that you value the seeds that you bring forward. And that is something that's personal to you. So when having a conversation about, a scenario like that where two people have sex, the female is pregnant, I can see where you're coming from with that. And I can respect that. But I think this bit of debate is larger, because at the heart of it is women asking for the autonomy and the freedom over choices with our bodies. And it's really disheartening to just ask for something that's a basic freedom that should be an inalienable right that men enjoy. But we have to ask for it. We have to have legislative means put in place, because there is this moment that has happened that has changed how we perceive this idea of making life now. Right? There's all these conjectures about how these babies are coming, these pregnancies are coming forward, and all this judgment on the woman and how she's making decisions. And what I know is that I feel like if a woman felt supported, she got pregnant, she was in a situation, whatever the situation, she felt supported, she felt that she could manage what it takes to go through 40 weeks of pregnancy and then a lifetime of a person, because kids don't go away at 18. My kids are way over 18, and they are just as much my kids as they ever were, right? And it's just like, that's a commitment. And then it's just such a layered thing. And in these last weeks after that decision came down, I've heard so many stories of women sharing their abortion stories. And so I just say it's way more complex than to just say, nope, you can't have that right. We're taking it away.
Rebuttal? Response?
So you know my stance. Everybody know my stance is, when you say freedom of body, what do you mean? Like, freedom to make choices for your body?
I say when I go into my doctor's office and I'm talking to my physician and we're having a conversation about my health, I should be able to make a decision about that does not require anybody else's signature, approval, so have you. So I could give you an example.
But that's not the debate though. So
That-
like that's my issue with people bringing up being at risk. Like I'm not talking about no woman whose body is at risk for any type of damage or hurt or death or anything like that, but it's the other ones that just laid up and had kids and ain't none of, or laid up and got pregnant, and none of that is the case, because we both either should have a choice or not. We both made the decision. So I mean, I don't know. It's not, to me, I don't think about the health. I'm not talking about the health aspect. Like, if something is going on with your body, I completely understand that. It could cause you harm. Okay, do what you need to do. But
You're just talking about like in relationship situations where women are deciding, I got pregnant, this dude is unreliable, I'm making a decision autonomously on my own about my body.
or not relationship where women just sleep around like men do and got pregnant by some random nigga in the club and, oh, I'm finna go get an abortion. What?
I don't think it's that easy. I think that's a
You don't think what's that?
misconception. I do not believe that women who are even living a lifestyle like that is just like, oops, look, I'm pregnant, y'all. Okay, I'm going down to Planned Parenthood. I don't think it's that easy, and I don't think it's fair to make it that light to say something that traumatic and a big ass decision. And I'm telling you, abortion ain't like going through the drive-through. You're not going
not.
in and out of there. That's an all-day
You're not.
situation.
It is.
And they counsel you, and it's a lot to that.
They do.
So women who are making those decisions are making those decisions because at that time that is the best decision for her.
That's not all the cases. And that's
That
the
a
point.
woman ain't making a decision about her body, that's all the cases of pregnancy.
Why you say it's not all the
It's just
cases?
not. It's a lot of women who have abortions because they got pregnant, don't want to have the baby because of whatever reason, and it ain't about their body. They just don't want to have the kid. They lay
It's
down.
about the responsibility.
The responsibility. They lay
Well,
down,
that
have sex.
too.
And that is my point. Why do you get the duck responsibility?
I know you're not sitting here. Why do black men get to duck their responsibility as a father and leave when the baby is alive? You probably came to the hospital and made a decision to duck out because you was deuces with that situation. Like, when do we get to tell anybody who gets to duck in and out of that situation? It is a
When the
huge
court system-
situation.
when women go to the courts and say, I'm putting him on child support, you're not ducking anything.
No,
What am I ducking?
you're saying to the court, he won't help me support this kid, and I need you to intervene by taking the money directly out of his check through a garnish because he won't do it willingly.
Now, do you see how fucked up it is that you're okay with the court?
No,
coming into
I'm not
play?
okay with that.
But that's what's
I was
happening.
never okay with that. But what happened is that person didn't hold up their end of the bargain, so we had to put a more
So what
structured
do-
situation in place so I can get the support I needed from my
So
child.
here's the other parts of what you're saying. A woman gives her child up for adoption. Is the court jumping in and making her pay child support to the people who adopted?
I don't know. I don't know about that
Okay.
system.
All right. What's the next
I
topic?
can't.
What's the next topic?
We're gonna assume no.
What's the next topic? Because y'all want to duck responsibilities. All these
People
kids,
duck
how
responsibilities.
many kids in the system?
In what system? The adoption system?
Yes. And how
I
many
don't
kids are in
know.
the system?
I don't know.
Okay. So
I
that
don't
means
know.
two parents have the duck responsibility,
But I
right?
know that
Nobody is chasing a mama to give
it's
up
real
child
easy
support
to say,
adopted
just
parents.
carry that
Like,
baby
come on
for
now.
9 months and then put it up for adoption. It's real easy to have all these convenient solutions and fit all solutions that go for top reasons. It's so many different reasons why women find themselves in that situation, and there's so many different reasons why they make that hard decision to do something like that. And it's just not fair to say, well, you're coming to it too lightly and we just want to take it away. We don't want to give you any reasons why it would ever be permissible. Immediately after that happened, this story about a 10-year-old gets raped and they try to take the child to get an abortion. And it's like, what is this story? What is this story? Why are these things, why is this even...
I ain't talking about the 10-year-old. I'm not talking about none of that. So.
Abortion is complicated. If you a person who out here in these streets and if you're a woman and you're dating, which you're free to, however you choose to, and you find yourself in a situation and now you are called upon to make a decision about your body.
So
forget
just
the
to
kid,
answer,
forget the other party in it. Right.
To answer your question, 424,000 children in foster care in the United States. So just to piggyback off the Roe versus Wade thing, I wanted to play this.
Child support. That child ain't taking responsibilities. Come on.
I wanted to play the little clip here.
Time and time again. My mindset is like, this is just who you are at this point. So do you, boo?
Black in Chicago.
Taking me being pregnant seriously. I was freaking out.
And I got kids. You don't have no kids. You understand that?
I would have had one.
No, listen. What you mean would have had one?
I'm not pregnant anymore. I decided that I needed to terminate my pregnancy. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Life is what it is. Stuff happens. And I felt alone.
You're not pregnant no more right now.
No.
I feel like if you're in a relationship with somebody, you're not supposed to make no decision this big without the person you with. That's just selfish. I don't know how to feel about this because this has never happened before. This is my first abortion.
You left me. I would never forgive you for that. You left me when I needed you. I felt alone. I took a lot of time just looking at.
All right. So just to recap real quick, they were together. They were going through some problems involving her friend. And he basically ghosted her for a couple of weeks while she was pregnant. Like, I think it was like 2 weeks.
How long were they together before he ghosted her?
It didn't seem like they were together that long. Maybe, short-term relationship, within a year probably. That's how it appeared on the show. So, is she in the wrong? I think this is kind of what Punk Childs will talk about, the choice, the equality. And both people having a choice.
She was wrong, in my opinion.
She was wrong.
I'm
pretty sure Lady D doesn't agree with that.
I feel like she should have told him if she found herself pregnant. But if he ghosted her,
he knew she was pregnant.
So he knew she was pregnant. They fell out about some irrelevant stuff having nothing to do with the pregnancy. And he ghosted her for a couple of weeks. So she was trying to get in contact with him, constantly calling him, and he wouldn't answer. He wouldn't answer. And
I bet you she ain't sent no text said I'm finna abort your kid.
You think then she would? But should she have to do that?
Yes.
Wait, so if he knew she was pregnant and he just was like, I gotta take a break. So he take a 2-week break, and then when he come back and she like, well, I just made a decision. Like, how did she know he was even ever coming back? What was she supposed to do? Hire a private detective to hunt him down to say, what you doing, bro? Like, and if he can conveniently take breaks whenever he wants to, how many times is she gonna find herself by herself pregnant? With a baby, with kids. Like, if he a duck out dude, what? I mean,
we don't know if this happened previously or a bunch of times. They got into it about something. It's like you would have to know the backstory than to just say that, because from my understanding, the backstory about her friend, it was he had reason to go clear his mind. And women would do the same thing. I just need a space and whatever. So let's not act like that don't happen in relationships.
Well, she made a decision about her body, and
Now it's about the body.
it's
So
about,
is it about
her
her
body.
or about him not knowing if he was gonna be there?
It could have been a combination of the two, but she made a decision about her body, and that was well within her rights, because that baby needs her body to support it while it develops and then matures into being born. She has to be okay with that. A woman's body has to be okay with that. Point blank in the period. I'm sorry. That just sounds so like that's crazy. Like you tell a dude, okay, I'm pregnant, and then he's just gone.
That's not what happened. That's why you would need the backstory, because you make it sound like she told him she was pregnant and he dipped like, I don't want to deal with this shit. That ain't what happened.
Well, why can't he communicate with her? If he sees she calling, she needs some emotional support. She in the first trimester of her pregnancy. You just abandon her like that?
Again, you will have to know the backstory. She was
That's
bogus in the
abusive.
backstory.
But if you an adult
whatever
though, you could
happened-
just say I need a break. But if they reaching out and it's
so
because
if you're
they
an adult, you can't say I'm finna get an abortion. You done
she
text
could
about a
too,
whole
but
bunch of
I
other
wouldn't
stuff,
want to
but you
text
couldn't.
that. I wouldn't want to text that personally. I
You
would
don't
like
think you have
that
to
to be
tell
a
the person
conversation
that, so
in
of course you ain't
person.
got to text it. You
And
gonna
if
have-
he
you
just
wouldn't
in the
even-
wind and I'm trying to get in contact with him, at the end of the day, that was her decision. I don't know what fully went into that, but that was her decision. Could he have looked at it like that was messed up? For sure. Given that this was his first abortion.
Cut it out. Cut it. You got a
first
kick out of that
abortions are
one.
the
You got a
worst.
kick out of that one. You want to elaborate, or you gonna let it go? I just have to say that this does happen, and fellas, if you serious with a woman and you serious about having some kids, don't ghost her. Definitely if she's pregnant, because you might not come back to a baby. Like you, people just assume that, people just gonna accept whatever's given to them. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying?
She had to make a decision.
She had to make a decision. This baby growing every day in this body. It changes every day.
And
I
know it wasn't a light decision. I'm not going to even say she was just on a whim like, okay, let's just do this. It had to be a decision that she thought about. And at the end of the day, she had to make a decision because he wasn't around to help her make it.
You condone him ghosting her while she pregnant?
He don't care. He just want the baby.
Who don't care?
You don't care what the reasoning was. You feel like she should have carried the baby to full term, right? And gave him the option to have the baby.
I definitely feel like she should have gave him the option. Y'all was in a relationship. Y'all laid down together.
So how long
to
should she
create a
have
baby.
waited for him to weigh in?
To what?
To weigh in.
I don't know. I would have to
You got
know if he
about
told her.
the first 3 months of the first trimester. I don't know about the abortion schedules, but how long should
you
she
can
have
one up to
waited?
like 6 months. But anyway,
Who is aborting a 6 month?
people, women. I know people that have done it. It happens.
I don't want to go into that.
Right.
How long should
Of
she
course
have
we
waited?
don't.
6 months.
It happens though. I'm not saying she should have waited 6 months. What I'm saying is you were in a relationship with someone.
So how long should she have waited when the absent partner in the relationship decides to come back?
You gonna let me answer? Or you gonna keep
Yeah,
asking?
because you just going around.
If
bush,
you're in a relationship
taking the
with a
stop at
person,
7-Eleven.
that means y'all both laid down, had unprotected sex, and made this decision to create a life. So he should know. I don't think she should wait months,
Okay.
but 2 weeks really wasn't that
2
long.
weeks wasn't enough.
Especially in this situation where you did
A
some
pay period.
You did some stuff.
She waited a pay period.
You did some
She had to
stuff
get her money together.
to create the
I'm sure it was
situation.
expensive.
And I'm pretty sure if you text him, hey, we
I'm
need to
gonna
talk
text
about.
somebody. I'm getting an abortion.
I didn't say that. You keep cutting me off instead of listening. If you text somebody, hey, we need to talk about the pregnancy and our child, about making a decision. If he cares about his kid, I'm pretty sure he's gonna call.
Okay.
But if you've been in a relationship with somebody over a year, I'm pretty sure you can get in contact with somebody in their family who
She
can
said she
contact
tried.
them.
She tried. She
Yeah,
tried.
I
You
know.
know when women try to get a hold of you, they gonna go. They
Maybe.
gonna
I
go
don't
through what
believe
they.
she made that decision lightly, and then she did.
I'm
Then
not
she
saying
talked
it was a
about it
right
on
decision.
television. Like that's a lot. So I'm not judging any of that. But at the end of the day, that was her decision, and that's on period.
All right, starting off spicy.
It just be letting me know they don't want equal rights.
Nah, we don't
How do
want to
you-
be equal. We want to be unequal. Who is asking for unequal treatment?
Women,
No,
y'all don't want to be equal.
whatever.
Women
Y'all
don't want
wanna
to be
be
equal.
at the top.
Elaborate.
They don't want equality.
Who at the
Every
top?
time something about equality comes up, they want equity. They want to be up here and be able to tell whoever else below them what to do. They don't care about equality. If you did, you would care about men's rights in all situations, and y'all don't.
All right.
You ain't feeling me.
I want men to have all
'Cause they
their
don't come-
rights
they don't care
and
about
they
them.
lefts.
You want all the rights in their loves.
Have both directions. They norths and they souths.
Are men intimidated by powerful women?
I think they are, but they show it in a different kind of way.
How do they show it?
It's not like, you know,
Like they fear them or anything?
no,
but-
I think they flex in different kind of ways because a lot of spaces are male, especially spaces of people that are decision makers, head of boards. It's a lot of male spaces. So when women can get in those spaces, when women have a lot of financial, you know, capital pull, decision making, authoritative skills, she is perceived a certain kind of way, and people just kind of maleness manifests in a couple different ways. Sometimes they try to play her down, you know, like she's beautiful, so it's, you know, sure, pretty lady, and of course beautiful, and oh, were you late because you need to get your nails done, dumb shit like that.
Where do you see this at?
Corporate spaces. Yeah, I've been working in corporate spaces since I was 21. Yeah. It's a bank, and I'm not going to talk about them, but I will say the females.
So it's a specific.
I'm
thing.
gonna say that the females all wore skirts above the knee, spiked heels, boot, like they were very
told them to do that?
provocatively dressed, whereas the men all kind of looked the same, comfortable,
Who told them to do that?
whatever. And the culture there just appeared to be the women dressed over sexualized. Why? I don't know. But
you're blaming men for
it
that.
was common. No, I'm not blaming anyone.
but
I'm
you're
saying
we
in
say
the
stuff
culture
like,
of
"Oh, you're
certain
beautiful.
male
You dressing the way you
workspaces, women are expected to look a certain kind of way. In the South, there was a workplace I worked in where women couldn't wear dress. They couldn't wear pants to work. They had to wear skirts.
And what men in corporate wear? What the bosses in corporate?
Whatever
that's
they
men.
want to wear.
So the majority of them not wearing suits and a tie.
Obviously, office apparel can be
Okay.
differing depending on where you work. No, not all businessmen don't wear suits and ties.
Not all of them, but the ones that's usually at the top, like you talking about these women.
Not
they're
all
wearing,
of them. They wearing that
and
more
not all
sporty
women
golf
are dressing how
look.
you're saying, but when you
No,
think of a
not all
corporate
women,
person,
but the majority of the women at this particular bank were, and it was very obvious because Chicago gets cold, and you have on a pencil mini skirt and some stiletto red bottoms.
when you think
and
of
all
a,
your-
when you
your
think
puffy
of a
stuff is
CEO,
out.
what do you picture in your mind? A CEO male. What are you picturing?
Me or her?
You.
A suit, yes.
Oh,
suit,
okay.
yeah, pants, suit,
Okay.
jacket.
Right. So saying
Tie.
like men can do whatever. No, there's an image. Everybody has an image.
And what does a
woman
CEO
or
female look like?
I don't know. According
Right,
to
you know
it's
what a
pe-
man look like. He look like a man in
According
a
to
suit,
you,
but
it's
you don't
it's
even
a
know what a,
woman in a
a
pencil
female
skirt.
looks like. No, I said this particular bank, this was the prevailing culture there. They exposed it on Fox News when all those women were expected to dress in a certain sexually provocative way. Women are expected to be a certain kind of way in male spaces. period. And when you a woman who you have a lot of success, yes.
So
look at Martha Stewart. They put her in prison.
Is the world a male space?
The world is in a male space? I don't know. I've never lived anywhere but the United States.
Okay.
I can't speak on that. Is it to you?
No, I'm just asking.
It's a women's space to you?
It seemed like all these women in the world these days are dressing provocative and are expected to look a certain way. So if you're saying that's in a male space, I just wanted to know if the world was a male space.
It's a lot of women who like modesty. It's a lot of women who prefer to have show they wares in a different kind of way that's just as provocative, but it's way more modest. Everybody doesn't feel like that.
You believe powerful women dress more modest?
No, she just said
no,
they
I don't think that, because when I think about billionaire women, the first person who comes to my mind is Oprah. No, she does not dress provocatively. No, nor has she ever dressed provocatively. But then on the flip side, Rihanna. She's also a billionaire. But yes, she does dress provocatively. But that was her brand and what she was doing.
That's part of her career.
So what does that paradigm of a rich, powerful billionaire woman even look like in 2022?
Rihanna.
Right?
Rihanna, yeah. In 2022.
Whose fault is that?
It is not a fault thing. I think it's a excellence thing, if you ask me.
And so it don't have nothing to do with me.
What? No, it don't. Everything don't have something to do with men.
Because the question was, do men look at
men intimidated by powerful
women? I think they
so I was
do
just,
things but in a different way.
What are they doing? What are men doing?
It's just a little different.
I think she belittling how she said, trying to use the pretty car to demean their
I haven't been a girl since I was 13. Okay, I'm a woman. If you can't pronounce my name, 13. Call me Miss.
Don't.
It's okay.
Hey, if y'all don't know, don't call no black woman no girl.
Well, call me. I said I haven't been a girl. I was a young lady, 14 through 18. I was a woman 19 through 20, because I was paying taxes, I was paying rent, I was living on my own.
Do you believe men intimidated by powerful women?
No.
So why do a lot of powerful women be single?
It's probably their mental space.
As far as what?
Just the having power and feeling like you're gonna have power over me because of whatever power you have in your career. No, it don't work.
That's
like
what it is.
I'm still a man at the end of the day, so
you ain't gonna have no power over me. I don't care how much money you get.
Absolutely. Just like I shouldn't have no power over you, no matter how much money I make. At the end of the day, I'm still a man and a human being, so I'm going to conduct myself as such. And if you have an issue with that because of how much money you make, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
So is the relationship based on her finances then?
Not for me. I don't care how much money you make. I'm going to be the same
well,
man.
Then what would make her have power over you?
Again, you're not. But how you think
But you brought it up that a power dynamic will immediately come into play.
I brought up that women who have money tend to look at men differently because of their money.
Who told you that? What woman with money told you that?
You see it.
No, seeing it and your perception of that. I'm asking you, what woman with money said, I look at men differently?
I mean, just look on social media. You see women that got money, it's like, I need a man that got this, I expect that, and I ain't doing this for a man, and I don't need a man for X, Y. Your mentality is completely different.
Her mentality is completely different.
Right, but because we're talking about a certain type of women. We're not talking about you. The women we're talking about,
can keep
their
it generalized.
mentality is different. And at the end of the day, for me, I don't care how much money you make.
Okay.
Is money the most important thing to a powerful woman?
I don't think so. I think powerful people, when they get it, they want to see if they can get it again or get it in a different way. When they do big projects and they find great success, they either want to do it again in a bigger way. And I think that's a characteristic of a powerful person who has that capability, whether they're male or female. So I think a female who has had success look at Oprah. She did that show for all those years, and I hate to keep using her, but that's
And
the
we
only
start talking
one.
about Oprah.
That's
She
the
don't
only
even
one that
like
comes to
men.
my
And we
mind
stop
right
doing
now.
that.
She had a show for all those years, and then stopped doing her show and started a whole network.
She's not even in the category we talking about.
She's a powerful woman, though.
That don't.
Okay, let's talk
men
about
ain't even
Shonda
in her-
Rhimes then.
Men ain't
She
in
does
her-
most of the
whatever-
programming.
whatever.
She did all the Thursday night
I
programming.
thought she had
She's
a boyfriend.
That's all we can go to. That's all we can go to is what that man is doing in her life when we talking about her success.
No, we're talking about the man woman dynamic. Why would we talk about that with a person who's not with men? It's irrelevant. That dynamic isn't there because so why would they be discussed?
I just think that if the dynamic is based on finances and you're not gonna have power over me because of your finances or your success in business, you're gonna come home and be whatever. That's just I feel like that's an unreasonable expectation to put on any woman.
What's unreasonable?
It's an unreasonable expectation to
That you still be a woman to me? I'm trying to figure out
what
because
does
you
that
talked
mean?
about
Be a
come home.
woman to me.
You said you make all this money and you.
What does that mean? Be a
successful-
woman to me.
Hold on. You said you're a successful woman and you still want me to come home and be all of this. Yes, I want you to come home and be a woman to me.
That's your wife.
It should be all wives. Why
No,
do being a
that's
woman to
your
me
wife.
stop
Because some
you're
husbands
successful?
don't need that.
And this is the what?
Some husbands
What husband
don't
don't
need
need their
that.
wife to be a
Some
woman?
husbands need a wife to be his partner in what they doing in life. Everybody,
Yes,
this is the crazy part about everybody having these one hard set ways of thinking about relationship dynamics. If that's what you like in your relationship and how you like for stuff to flow, that's cool for you. But I could tell you for a fact,
What do you think what do
every
you think I'm
man
saying?
ain't on that.
What do you think I'm saying?
I just repeat what you said. Don't ask me what do I think. Repeat
don't-
what you said.
Just because you're successful at work and you make a lot of money, don't mean when you come home you don't have to be my wife or a woman to me. I still want a woman. If I didn't, I wouldn't be with a woman.
Okay, and that's good for your wife.
What man don't want a woman?
We will have to bring
We don't
another.
want
I'm
a-
not talking
what
about a
man want a
woman. I'm
robot?
talking about whatever this definition is of woman
And that's why
or
I'm asking, what do you think
what do you
I'm
think
saying
that
in
is?
that?
No,
Somebody
I don't have
who's
to,
gonna
I can
come
ask
home.
you what you're saying. What is a woman?
Someone who's gonna come home, spend time, give me the things that I need from her,
Which are
whatever it may be.
Oh,
You
shit.
thinking cook, clean. I know
no,
your mentality. I'm not talking
asking
about
you.
none of that.
I'm not trying to
But I
assume
need
anything.
your
I'm asking
time.
you, but you just said I need her to do whatever I need.
Because that's a relationship. If
Is
you
it?
can't get the things that you need from your partner, what the fuck are y'all doing?
But when I ask you, what is it that you need, and you like,
You
whatever
want me to say
I
a
need.
specific thing. This is I'm very general. You want me to be specific and say I need XYZ. My wife knows what I need. I'm saying in a space for whoever, all men, whatever it is that they need from their wife, who knew that going into it, just because you're successful don't mean you get to come home and turn off what I need from you. Otherwise, why are you here?
Why do you assume that every man wants a woman to come home and do
And be a wife, the
whatever
wife
it is
they
that you
need?
feel like you need from your wife
I'm
to
not
him?
saying from my. You're not listening.
You just keep
I'm me.
talking in a circle.
I'm me, right?
Because first it's your example, but then it's for all men. And what I'm saying to you is some men are different and they want different situations and
Every
different
man
dynamics.
want a certain type of woman. Every man want a woman to treat them a certain way.
Everybody want to be treated a certain kind of
Exactly.
way. Period.
Exactly.
That's a human thing. That's not a gender thing.
Exactly. So
everybody
you
wants
don't
to be
get
treated
that-
with
you-
love, respect, kindness. That's baseline stuff.
You
I'm
don't
saying
get to
above
turn
that,
off.
what is it that you feel like every man wants from from women?
Again, you're not listening. I don't know what each individual man wants, but whatever it is that they require in their relationship or their marriage from their wife, just because you're successful don't mean you get to come home and turn off the shit that I need from you because I just came from my successful job where I make all this money. No, I still need what I need from you.
Okay.
If not, why are you here?
But I'm not saying anything against that. I'm saying that's great for your situation. I said it is not universally felt across the board
People are just in relationships
men.
not getting what they want out of it.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I can say
dumb.
when I go on TikTok, yeah, it's
That
lots
shit
of
is dumb.
people. When I go out, I'm a single woman. It's a lot of married men out there who are dating
And that shit is-
single women. Yeah, it's a lot of
They
people who not
married and
getting
they
what
out here dating, right?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of people who not getting what
That's
they want out of
why.
relationships.
That's why they're married out here dating, because
No,
they're
it's
not
because
getting.
they're breaking their
It's
vows.
because they're breaking their vow. If you ain't giving me what I need at home, why the
Then
fuck
get
am
a
I just sitting
divorce.
here? They
Then get a
probably should.
divorce.
But guess what?
Get in
Not
this
divorce.
single
I
get
gotta
a
pay half
divorce.
for whatever the
Who
fuck it is.
cares? Get a divorce.
What you mean? Who cares?
If
People
your
care.
marriage is broken and you out being with you laying with other women, get a divorce.
Yeah, I would suggest it. But that's the point. If you're not putting in what I need from you,
Then leave her and find a woman that's going to give you what you need.
They absolutely should do that. And there lies the problem why you saying men look at successful women a certain way. No. If you gonna feel like you get to come home
when
and
the
act
question
however
was
you want
posed
to,
about
no.
do they feel intimidated, I just say they do it in different ways. Successful, powerful women are perceived differently. I'm sorry. It is the way of the world. Sorry.
If you gonna come home
Sorry,
and think
Charlie.
you gonna act however you want to because you successful, yeah,
Just
shit
don't
ain't
come
gonna
in
work.
Punk's house with that shit.
No, ain't gonna work.
Don't come in Punk's
Ain't
house
gonna work.
with that shit.
Cause I'm not gonna do that. I'm
You know
I'm
you-
not gonna come home and treat my wife differently because I'm successful.
I
and
didn't say treat
what?
him differently. I'm saying everybody is not asking for these same things from their
I didn't
from
say
their
they
spouse.
was, but they're asking for
Period.
something from their spouse. So if you feel like you don't have to give me that something because you're powerful at work and successful, you got me twisted. Whoever
Okay.
the person is, men feel that way. Like if
And
a
they're
woman
allowed to have
should
those
too.
feelings.
If you require something from your husband just because he a CEO or whatever and he make $500K a year, he get to come home and be like, fuck you, don't say nothing. No, you still have requirements. But he's supposed to feel like, shit, I make this money.
But in
so
reality, there are
what?
lots of men who work stressful jobs who come home and feel like, no, I do want to check out on my family because I'm tired.
And my point is that's not okay.
But it still is accepted. Period.
Then that suck for them people who accepting it.
But so you acting like it don't. Who cares?
I didn't say who cares. I
It's
said it
people
sucks for
who
them.
come
You
home
think that
and are
you think women get that short end of the stick more than men as far as
being
he
able to
making-
come home and check out?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I feel like women there's the expectation that you are supposed to be equally as doing your work at home as you are doing your work and whatever you're doing outside the home. And if you're the woman who can balance that, cheers to you.
You shouldn't have to balance that.
You gonna argue me on everything?
I'm asking. You shouldn't have to balance
Cheers
work
to
and
the
home.
woman who gets up, gets her kids off to school, works a 9 to 5, and comes home and do her night stuff with her kids. Cheers to her. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna argue that point with you. I'm not gonna argue that point with you, Punk, because that's dumb and it's irrelevant. I'm saying cheers to the woman that can get it done. Period.
As if
Period.
it shouldn't get like
Period.
balance is
Period.
part of it.
Period.
Balance is part of it.
Period. We're not even gonna argue about that point. Cheers to that woman.
Work don't
Cheers
make you
to
get
you,
the cut
sis.
off home.
Get
Male
it.
or female.
Get it.
It don't make you get the cut off home, and it shouldn't.
Get it.
I get what both sides are saying. I get what both sides are saying. Y'all on fire tonight.
It's
Y'all-
this fucking Deuce.
Y'all must have missed
He
each
done
other.
filled up on Taco Bell. Mixed it with
He
this
filled
goddamn Deuce. You get on Taco Bell,
Don't
Punk.
forget about my Baja Blast.
It's
That's
alright.
the kicker.
Taco
Relax.
Bell
I'm
and Deuce.
good. You just
Relax.
be
You
full
tight
of
in the
it.
chin.
That's what I'm working out. I ain't really tight.
So what you do like?
What's the next time? I ain't finna be playing with her.
Anyway.
We gonna let Lady D lead with this one.
Okay.
Because she made the statement. some people don't learn marriage until divorce.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, when I was a young woman, I thought marriage was this thing about love and family and building a family structure, and you changed your last name and legally you were uniting with this other man, and traditionally your father gave you away. My ex-husband went and asked my father. They had a conversation about me. He gave his blessing.
Well, me,
We we got married.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel good to know my daddy, felt that strongly enough about the man. He knew I was serious about to have a conversation about how you about to treat my daughter.
Mm-hmm. I heard that. Continue.
So, and I just thought it was about love. So fast forward, 15 years, things started to get rocky. We made a decision.
15 years into marriage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That's when it first started getting rocky, or was this stuff happen and now we really rocky?
Rocky escalating to we need to make some decisions.
Okay.
And so we got a divorce, but we was talking about marriage, and I said, you have this idea of marriage as something that's about love and family and all this other stuff until you get a divorce and you fill out, at least where I got divorced, a 26-page packet, and not one question on there said, do you still love this person? It asked about irreconcilable differences. How much do you make? What's in your account? How many kids you got? It makes you go to counseling for the kids. At no point did it ask me, did I care about him anymore? Did I love him? None of that stuff. And then it was a signature and it was done.
If you can go back, would you do it again?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Life is a journey, and I was lucky enough to find a partner who met me at 20 and knew the motherfucker I was at 20, 30, and just almost 40.
So you were crazier back then?
Heck yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh my God, yes.
Scared of you.
And when you have a life like we was burying parents, we was burying family members, we was graduating kids from high school, we was graduating from stuff, and we just had a long relationship, and stuff changes and people change. And if you don't got a plan for what's after them kids, you're gonna find a stranger in your house.
Do you feel like paperwork shouldn't be needed then, as far as marriage goes?
Yeah, because the way it all broke down, it was about pensions and property. And, that was just the main things that we still needed to dissolve with the court. So that
was it any of that paperwork before marriage?
No, it was this cute little application. It was an application, $35. Nobody even counseled us. Mm-hmm. Like when you go get the license, but then when you do the ceremony or whatever. But no, nobody even talks to you about this stuff. And changing your name. Do you keep your married name? Do you take your original? Like, it's just so much to it, and you just think, no, I'm breaking up with this person and it's over. And you find out, that was a financial transaction. That was two corporations that are now splitting and figuring out who gets what, who gonna buy who a car, who gonna pay for whose insurance, kids, child support, maintenance.
But you can just say we gonna go our separate ways and split it, and we gonna.
I wouldn't advise that, because I think it's messy when you meet new people and you still in a marriage. I don't date no married man.
What I'm saying is, with the paperwork or whatever, you can say, I don't want none of his pension. Or he can say, I don't want none of her pension.
In some state, it don't work like that. If y'all married over 10 years, you going to get that, though. You going to get you vested at that point. You going to get that, though.
You going to get it regardless, or...
It's
almost sure it's
when it's over 10 years, yeah, and in some cases I've seen where two people have pensions, they both pay each other once they retire. Well, once they were to
telling
retire.
Me you can't even go to the courts and say we don't want to do none of that. We just, and the court won't let you do that.
I think in some places where they have what they call no fault divorces, but if you have some community property, they want to address it. So it's better to just do that. That's what we did. We just started dissolving stuff. We knew what time it was. Well, we gonna go into court and let them, you know what I mean? Like, it was what time it was. So we was making the steps and doing what we needed to do so that once it was in play, it was what it was. But, you know, I didn't feel like it was any love lost. We had processed ourselves, and now at this point, it was a matter of the last bits of things that were financially tying us. He could still get accounts in my name. He could still do things in my name as a married couple. No, separate that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that's where you separate your finances from somebody. So thinking about marriage and at the end of the day, when it's time to say goodbye, it's way more to it.
Was there a winner, a loser, or were both parties winners, or were both parties losers?
I think we both won because we was able to not, you know, go into. I see couples that stay together in long relationships, and they just not happy with each other. And I felt like that too. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna be single after all these. Like, I wasn't the last time I was single, you know. But you gotta you gotta give yourself some space. I love him. You know, we got kids together. I love him, and nothing's gonna change that. But we can't be together no more. I like to see him win. I like his new.
Was cheating the problem?
I'm not gonna comment.
It's always the cheating. Any other comments on their podcast? That's all they care about is the cheating.
No, I ain't been divorced, so I don't know.
Do you feel like your marriage is grounded in love, or is it about your financial situation?
Love.
So would you, if you felt like, okay, we need to make some decisions, you would just keep the marriage intact?
Nah, we done been there though. We
Right.
done separated. We done felt like we need to make decisions on if we gonna be together, whatever. So.
And love won.
Right.
But if it came down to it,
If it came down to what?
do you feel like it's a situation where you just wouldn't go through the hassle? Because I met
The
guys
hassle of
that,
getting divorced? Oh no, if you don't want to be with me and the love ain't there, sign the papers. Oh, I'll sign them. Ain't no hassle.
Okay.
All right. Where we at? Okay. Are relationships better for men?
I think so.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Did you expect anything different?
No, I didn't.
All right.
Can you elaborate?
I feel like if you go by the statistical data, it shows men live longer. They benefit from it health wise. Blah 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 blah. But I see some single bachelors,
And what?
pre-woman and post-woman. What, for whatever reason, they just look more polished post-woman. Left to their own devices, you go, you know, they got 2 sheets maybe. And a flat sheet. They ain't got a comforter. They, you know, they just living like bachelors. And they, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Then you could tell when a woman's touch is starting to happen. And then you could tell it's in their appearance sometimes with some guys, you know. Yeah, so yeah, I would say yes.
Punk?
So you think men just don't really take care of themselves?
I think men are into grooming, but I think that it is some things that I've seen, and some of the best groomed guys, you could tell when a woman touch happens.
Okay.
But when a woman is in a relationship, you
Go
start
ahead.
to see her.
Go ahead. Yeah. Why?
Her shoulders start to
that's
roll
just time.
over. She talking to herself. Her hair in a ponytail in the back.
You said that's just time.
That's just time.
What do you mean that's
Don't
just
be trying
time?
to blame us.
What do you mean that's just time?
She just getting old and ugly.
I ain't call y'all ugly, but time has a way of taking its effects on everybody.
So you're not gonna elaborate why?
Cause he a
Elaborate on
handful.
what?
You know, are
'Cause he a
relationships
handful.
better for men?
I mean, you know, we discussed this, so
Well, we need to discuss it again.
No, it ain't better for men.
You think men when I mean they're better when they're by themselves or single?
No, I'm not saying that, but I don't think relationships are better for men than they are for women.
How does it benefit a woman more?
Y'all get more,
Like
help with whatever
we
financial.
get more help?
Y'all don't. Men got to do all the courting, the taking out, the taking care of the house, the cars, yes, men do a lot in relationships that women don't have to worry about.
Okay.
You see that? Do you see that perspective?
No, but I definitely I definitely can see where he comes from with that, and I'm sure there is a sizable cohort of men who can back him up on that, but I can just say in my life experience, I don't see that as prevalent. I see a lot of men saying, let's go half on stuff. Very few, I got the
That's 'cause
mortgage.
women
Or
don't
if
want
they got the
traditional.
mortgage, you got to pay everything
Women
else.
don't want traditional. That's why you saying that.
That's an opinion too.
That ain't no.
That is an opinion. It's not a fact.
Women say it. What
It's
you mean?
not a fact.
Women are saying that they want
talk to
modern
a few-
relationships with a couple traditional things through in there because they want the man to pay for everything, but everything else they want modern.
All right.
Fuck out of here with that. Come on now, you know what? I despise when you do that because you act like you don't know these situations happen. I don't see it. I don't see it. No, that ain't happening. Cut it out. Cut it out.
You know damn well y'all get everything
y'all want.
Even in those 50-50 relationships, guess what? Once we make more money, we still end up paying more money than y'all. Trust me. We still pay for dates. We still pay for all of that shit, and we're still in a 50-50 relationship. We're still have expectancies of male roles, and we're still in a 50-50 relationship because we go half on bills. But guess what? We still take on traditional roles in other ways in a relationship.
Do you not like that?
It's fine.
It's
it is
full
what it
of
is.
shit. It
don't
don't matter
like
if I
it?
like it or not. It's full of shit because you can't say you don't want traditional, but you want traditional in certain aspects. And then when you find a guy that's like, no, I'm straight modern, we going half on everything. Then it's like, wait, what type of man is you? Huh? But either you want modern or you want traditional.
Well, so let me
What's
ask
the
you.
halfway
No,
with that?
I see
That's
where you
annoying.
at. Let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the type of man who likes to court?
Naturally, no.
But you will do it.
I would do it when I know that's what my partner needs.
So by courting her, you will fulfill her need.
Right. Exactly. And I'm expected to.
Do you feel like you're forced to fulfill her need?
No,
or
I'm
by
expected
fulfilling her
to.
need, does that bring you some joy?
Yeah,
Of course it bring you
So
joy.
let it bring
because
you
you
joy.
wanna
Why
make
you
your-
mad?
Yeah.
Why you
You
complaining?
wanna
With that-
make
Why
your
you
wife
mad?
feel
With that
good.
I paid a bunch of money to go
Nobody's
to Great
mad.
This is
America.
the fucked up
I paid a
thinking.
bunch of money to go to Great America to have a great time, and I had a great time and left. If you paying a
Watch
bunch
this
of money to have a
bullshit.
great time with entertaining a woman, then enjoy the time with the woman and quit. I ain't
this
get this.
bullshit.
I
Go
ain't
ahead.
get that.
Watch this.
Whatever.
Why you courting? Because you said your woman need it, right?
Yeah.
Your wife need it?
Yeah.
So you get joy out of it because you know it's making her happy, right?
Yeah.
But this motherfucker won't come home and cook a meal if her husband needed to make him happy. Cut it out. Cut the shit. Like, come on. It's like
Me,
y'all.
I won't come home and cook a meal.
You've said that.
I said
you
it
ain't
is
coming
not
home from your
my
job
preference
as a
to
whatever
come
and
home
coming home
and
and
cook.
cooking a meal.
But
right.
if he just
Come on, cut it
absolutely,
out.
if that's his thing, then I'm probably not the woman for him. And we've said,
how
I've
that
said
work?
this before.
See
I'm
how
not
that
the
work?
woman for him.
Right.
He wants a woman who likes to cook. He's not gonna find that in me.
This is why y'all get more
So he's not
relationships.
gonna come home to me.
This
He
is
might
why
date me,
y'all
but
get
he's
more
not gonna come home
relationships.
to me.
Why they get more relationships?
This is why they get more.
in relationship, right?
Cause what?
Because we're gonna do something that we don't want to do to make you happy.
Women don't do stuff
You
we
just
don't
said.
want to
Well,
do.
you just said you
Next
would.
topic,
You
dude.
just said
Women
you
don't,
would.
women don't do nothing
next
they don't
topic,
want to
dude.
do in a situation. Get
Next
out of
topic,
here.
dude.
It always get on this little petty. Oh, she don't cook. It's 3 topics that just is this
Cooking,
dynamite.
cooking is petty, but
the
going to Great
manosphere
America
just
ain't.
goes into
Hold on,
uproar
cook-
like, oh my God. these-
Cooking petty, but going to Great America ain't. Which one I need to live?
That's the.
Which one do I need to
I'm
live?
talking about entertaining a woman.
Okay.
We were talking about dating and what you putting
Which
in
one I
to
need to
entertain
live?
yourself in dating, and I'm talking about how I
Which
use my
one is
money to
needed to
entertain
live?
myself.
Is cooking needed to live? Do I gotta eat or do I need to entertain? Which one is needed to live?
What if you a man who cooking is important
But it's
and
petty.
needed to live? You should know how to cook
Everybody
for yourself.
gotta eat. You gotta
So
eat
you
to
should
live.
know how to
You can't-
feed yourself. You
I
shouldn't be that
do.
vulnerable and delicate
not
that you
at
put
all.
that you put that responsibility
at
on another
all.
person.
Trust, I'm not. But everybody
That's
needs
a
to
real
eat
vulnerable
to
man.
live.
You can't feed yourself. That's a basic.
And this is why I feel like
That's
men
basic.
get the shorter end in
That's like the
relationships.
first thing a baby learn how to do is feed themselves. What's happening? And can't wait to take the bottle away and hold it for themselves. Like that's a stage in development where you learn how to nurture yourself, like with food. But I guess if you always need somebody to whip it out for you.
Welcome back, Lady D.
Thank you.
Full of it.
Joy and love. You're right.
We'll let you guys be the deciding factor.
And y'all can say whatever y'all want in them comments.
Ooh, you know they're coming. You
They
know.
gonna be on your ass.
Whatever you want. Child of God.
Anything else? Anybody want to talk about anything else? Are we good?
You ain't had nothing else on the board?
It's
I thought it was another thing that was on
it's
the board.
another
Felt
thing
like
on the
it was.
board. I didn't know if he wanted to end hot like that. Oh, y'all round up already.
Come on with it.
Wait a minute, let me get another.
Yeah,
shot.
you ain't let Lady D fill up on another shot of Deuce. I'm gonna find the clip.
Oh my gosh.
Come on with it.
Here we go. This is
You should
Punk.
despise no part of me.
I don't despise you.
You just say I despise me.
Hey, watch how you.
I despise
watch
when you do that.
Last time you said that we lost a member.
I didn't say
goddamn it.
that. I said I did. Look, I actually thought about that, and I chose my words differently.
Watch the words, man.
I know you
Words
love
hurt,
me.
man.
Punk love
That's
me
why.
for real.
That's why I didn't say I despise you. I said I
When you
despise
said-
when you
Yeah, I
do
know.
that, so it could be clear.
So, yes, you are absolutely right. Here in 2022, right now, if a mother had an accident, she went to go get some insurance for Medicaid. They told her, well, we see that you have some kids here, but we don't see no child support. She said, well, I don't need no child support because their father and I are good. Well, I said, well, the only way that we can help you with Medicaid is you put them on child support. So she said, well, you mean to tell me, even though me and their father are good, he take care of his kids, the only way that you can help me is I put him on, is for me to hurt him and put him on child support when he already take care of his kids? And they said, yes.
All right. Medicaid requires child support if you have kids. Anyway, are black women being used to hurt black men in this dynamic of child support?
I think unintentionally when a woman is seeking financial or support services from whether it's county care or whatever
The
structure
government,
it is, the government in general, I think the first thing they do is, and you have dependent children, to say, where's his father? And if you want anything from us, we need to hold him responsible as well. And in those situations, what are you gonna do?
That's messed. But like there should be some type of way of, okay, he's taking care of his responsibility. Can I still get some support or no?
I feel like they also
that
look
seems
at
wild. That seems wild to
in
me.
situations like where a divorce has happened, like insurance will be addressed in the divorce decree. So you're not going to be looking for county care unless
We ain't
something
talking about
happens.
divorce, though.
But so yes, the courts are, or the government is going to look at, if we're providing support for this dependent child, we need the absent father to.
But he isn't absent.
They consider you an absent father when you're not married and you're not in the household with the kid.
Man, that's a
But
terrible way to explain it.
that he take care of his kids. So he not absent.
She's saying legally. So legally, you're absent if you're not
Right.
married.
It's the custodial parent, and it's the parent who is absent.
That's horrible. That's
Who's
horrible.
absent?
That's
Isn't
horrible
it?
terminology. That terminology
See
is
how
horrible.
the man get treated?
Oh, why would you? But again, I feel like in a lot of these situations, it just and people hate to talk about the history, but I swear, if people don't start reading up on what was going on in the early parts of this country that still affect us, yes, that was viewed as a way that was running black men from black families and black homes, because the welfare worker would come out and do home visits. In some places, they still do.
So it was designed this way.
Well, it was designed to say, well, if we're giving you money and you are saying you live alone with these kids and there's nobody else here, we coming to make sure that's the case. And if you're trying to, still have him live there and you signing on documents, I live alone, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Is that like a trap? Does that seem like a trap to you? Like,
I don't think it's
we're gonna have this little
I don't
money
think it's
here.
a trap.
And
I think
you
it's
only get it if you're single with kids.
I just think it's a system that's set up so rigidly that it does put people in extraordinary circumstances in a challenging space, because we know that in marginalized communities it was difficult for folks in those communities to find work that could pay the bills, right? We had drugs that were an epidemic in black communities where folks, fathers and mothers, but however that shook out, you had issues in the community that were affecting us disproportionately, that was not allowing a lot of our men to be in the workforce for whatever reason. Look at the prison population. They're not in the workforce. So when you think about systems in and of itself, it does kind of put the recipient of those services at a complicated space, because now you do have to bring the weight of the government down into your situation because you need assistance. And healthcare is expensive. A Tylenol is $20 at Northwestern. Just a tablet.
That's ridiculous. Punk?
What up?
Are black women being used to hurt black men by way of the child support system?
Absolutely.
How so?
Besides all the ways you just explained.
I'm curious to know your opinion.
Come on now.
I mean, it's just I'm just saying you explained so eloquently as your daughter.
Eloquently packed him up. Killer was here the other day.
She was real pressed about a comment somebody told her. He just packed her up eloquently, and she just said she felt some type of way about that. But I mean, I feel like you said what needed to be said, and at the end of the day, we all know the system.
But is it malicious? Do you feel like
the government
black
is being
women
malicious?
are being malicious in?
No, this ain't about black women. This is about the system using black women to hurt black men. Yes, it's malicious. It's intentional. It's been that way for a long time. And unfortunately, it ain't going to never stop because we ain't never on the same page. And the effects that it have on us, for the most part, I don't want to say women don't care, but it's this this thing of he should take care of his responsibilities, you know, and it's like, yeah, I feel that way. So it's hard for me to say anything against that because I grew up in a house that if you lay down with a person and have a kid, take care of your responsibilities. So I have nothing against that. But it's just the issue of using it to hurt us, which they do. Even if you're involved in your kid's life and take care of them and everything else, people go to child support and go to court through the system because they know it will hurt you. And that's why they do it. And it's unfortunate.
You think that's mostly the reason? It's not really about the actual support, the actual dollar figure
No, some of it may be about the support, but a lot of it ain't, because you hear all these women who went to child support court and they complaining about this $29 a week ain't enough, but you went. And you knew that's what they was going to give you because you know this man ain't got no job, or you know whatever. So it's like, why did you really go? I get you. He wasn't taking care of his responsibility. So we have to get, but you know that's going to hurt him. Maybe in a whole different way.
Or maybe it'll help him. I'm going to tell you.
You've seen cases? You've seen cases?
It's a man who shaped up because those 30-day writs and holds, and now you got to pay all this back child support before. I went through that with family. I went through that with men in my life, and that is challenging. And men who are, just trying to get their stuff together, and they're in that child support loop, and they got that $49 a week, and yes, they don't have it garnished out of someplace, and they trying to work under the table to beat. I get all of that, but at the end of the day, some men got motivated to get their stuff together because they didn't want to go to jail.
In your opinion, did more men get motivated and get their stuff together, or did more men find a way to hustle the system?
Both.
I'm saying, but what do you think is more of the case?
I feel like some dudes got real clever because they just detested that process. Mm-hmm. Other dudes was just like, I don't like to deal with the court. Right. I don't want to go down there, just take it out of my check, and I want to get stable and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. Other guys is like, I don't like that. I want to bring, and this is a while ago, so at that time you could take the little $50 down to the office, mm-hmm. and it'll go to the woman. It wasn't all electronic like it is now. Mm-hmm. So they knew how to game that way to keep themselves at it. So yeah, it was a hustle for them to kind of keep them off their back, still do what they doing in the streets, mm-hmm. and provide for the kid. But I've also seen dudes who paid that little minimal amount and still gave to the mom.
Mm.
And still
that's what you would do.
What?
You'll pay child support and then still give more.
Negative.
You're a lie.
Yes, you would.
You
Negative.
Would. You say that, but I know.
Negative.
You say that. I know you got to keep up a facade.
Negative.
He had them teddy bears over there.
Negative.
Daddy,
a new outfit.
Nah, it'll be at my house. It ain't going over there. Negative.
That's okay too. Sure, we had stuff in Daddy's house, and that was okay too.
I don't have an issue taking care of my kid, but if I'm a dude who take care of my responsibilities and you go put me on child support, whatever the court tell you getting, that's all I got for you.
What if it's the case of this? Like, man, I need insurance. I'm fucked up. I need insurance. That's the only way I could go about it. If she came to you and explained that, would you be fine with that, or still no?
That's some BS, because you could just act like you don't know where I'm at. People do it all the time. How do you think it's a bunch of people getting insurance?
So lie on the affidavit. Because that's what she has to sign.
A world of people do it. Are we going to act like people don't do it?
I'm asking.
I'm taking care of my responsibilities. I'm not talking about what a world of people do.
You telling that woman to falsify this affidavit.
I'm not telling her anything.
You just said people don't tell where they at. Don't tell them where I'm at.
People do it every day.
She has to be accountable for that. And it's okay.
Every day.
And it's okay because it's every day.
And you avoided my question. Would you what if she said, I don't want to break the law, but I need insurance. Can you work with me? Are you doing it?
I probably would just get insurance for him.
Oh, you would get insurance for him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that would be the easy.
That would be the smartest
me
way to
on
go
your
about it.
insurance.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I would get insurance for him, but I'm not.
But you're not
gonna-
rocking with that child support.
No,
that's
'cause
against
if
your
you put
morals.
me on
That's
child
against your
support, I
moral
don't have
standard.
nothing for you, but whatever child support tell me to give you. That's just how I feel about it.
That worked till about the kid is about 11. Then they on the phone. I need this. Daddy, I need this. And you gonna get them shoes and you gonna do that side stuff and you gonna take care of your kid because you supporting your kid. You love your kid, you gonna do for your kid. As mad as you want to be about that stuff early in a relationship or early in the breakup or whatever, that's what, once you get over it, you gonna take care of your kid and you gonna make sure your kid have what you want them to have.
Call me terrible, but nope.
You gonna do it. You just
Okay.
not in that situation yet.
I ain't
Hopefully you won't
be in
ever
that
be.
situation.
Are black women duped?
Into what?
Let me bring up the young lady's comments. This will be the last one. And then we will be done. Oh, here we go. Right on
I
cue.
just can't see
Black
it.
woman, we've been duped. Can I talk about it? I'm gonna talk about it. And shout out to Erica Lachey. I watched her live the other day. It was amazing, and she brought up some great points that I want to refer to in this video. So how is it that we've been duped exactly? Being the strong, independent woman that so many of us are today, we were married at
And
a
wanna
higher
be.
rate than most demographics in the 50s and 60s. The man would go out and work, the woman stayed home and took care of the place and the kids. But somehow that lifestyle was demonized and looked at as a mockery for the modern lifestyle that we now have today. Ever since feminism and the whole women's rights movement came into play and women were now able to go out and do what the men do, going out to work and have businesses, we somehow felt as if that made us better women. And that's not to say that women can't work or have businesses or anything of the sort. She said, but we have...
Okay. We get where
Oh,
she's
no,
going.
she gave some statistics in there, didn't she?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want
okay.
Lady D to hear these statistics because
I
she
don't
be
need to
talking
hear because
statistics.
that's her opinion.
Statistics ain't opinion.
That's her
We
opinion.
have a lot more mental health problems than we did ever before, and our women are the least married than we've ever been in history. We physically and figuratively wanted to wear the pants in the relationship while all the while they were using reverse psychology on us. This is the modern woman you should aspire to be like. She's not just a housewife, she's not just a cook or a mom. As if these things were demeaning. There's nothing wrong with being a working woman, but we're clearly not as happy as we used to be, and we're clearly not as married as we used to be either. Life is a lot harder for a lot of us.
Okay. We get what she's saying.
I can turn my mic off.
React. So I can turn my mic off.
I wish if I had one wish, I wish the algorithms on social media would pair these men who are looking for these submissive women who want to go back to with women like her, who want to go back there as we
Yeah,
who want to go back as well.
Twinkle in my eye.
I want them to meet each other, right?
Who said
they
she was got to be submissive?
That's not what I said. I said I want the algorithm to pair the men who want these traditional,
men
women
with the
Submissive.
traditional
who are
women.
submissive
Right,
and
who
all
said
of
they mean
those.
submissive?
I said it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I want them to pair them up with these women who want to be in these traditional relationships so they can find each other like Match.com.
So traditional means submissive.
No, traditional, submissive.
Why is it being put together?
Because that's how I
So can
chose
you
to
have
say
a
it.
traditional relationship without being submissive?
Can you have a traditional relationship without being submissive?
Without you feeling like the woman is being submissive because she's in a traditional relationship or marriage.
Good question, actually.
How are we defining a traditional relationship? Which tradition? The slave tradition of the black woman?
The black
contemporary
American
black
tradition.
woman in the 60s and 50s.
The black American tradition.
Where are we talking about in history?
However you are, when you just stated you want them to pair these men with a traditional, submissive woman, that you paired them together. What makes that traditional style submissive?
No. I didn't pair them together as a style. I said traditional, and submissive. Period.
But why is submissive
Why did I choose to
included?
put them together? Because I
looked at
hear a higher volume of men talking about they want women to be traditional as they will remember their grandmother being. And also I hear them saying they want women to submit. So obviously from what I'm seeing on social media, this is a thing and a movement in certain guys, and my idea is the algorithm should pair them with the women who want to be in those situations.
Oh, you look at submissive as a negative?
No, I look at it as if that's what you want somebody to do, then that's on you.
She ring around the rosy, but
No.
it's all good.
Have black women been duped?
I don't think so. I think it's different kinds of women. I think we should stop trying to have this one kind of woman. Some women want to work.
You don't think the modern woman is the one kind of woman that's like dominating the social media?
Because that's what people like to talk about. That's what get people blood pumping. That's what make people...
But you don't think that's what's mostly out here? You think it's more traditional women out here?
I don't think it's more traditional women. I think it's women who are... I first of all, I think to just give this kind of broad-reaching, ambiguous statement of what traditional versus modern is, if you be more finite in it, I would say nobody fits in either one of them, because we mix a bunch of... It's a hodgepodge of all of it, right? It's about, what do you want from your spouse? What do you want from your mate? Even better, do you even want a mate? You know what I mean? It's people who are asexual who don't want any of it. You know what I mean? It's different.
Asexual.
It's different types of people, and and don't even start.
Y'all gonna have
Just
to,
don't
y'all
start.
Gonna, y'all gonna have to educate me.
No.
What is an asexual
That's the
person?
A in LGBTQIA.
I don't know nothing about the last
They
two
don't wanna
letters.
have
So
sex.
y'all
You don't
need
have
to
to
educate.
Google
Huh?
They don't want to have sex with nobody.
Asexual?
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
okay.
finna have to pull Google out, because I
Google
thought
it.
asexual meant a certain thing,
No.
and that's throwing me off.
No. So when we, just when we think about these traditional relationships, it's just all this, it's a lot more to consider, and it's just a lot out there. And when I hear women just say, oh, we're not happier, we're more unhealthy, I like working. Really? I like to work. I'm sorry. I've been working since I was 14. I've been thinking about a career since I was a young... My mama told me, you are not going to sing. You're going to be a business professional.
So, career or husband?
Both.
You
had
gotta
both.
pick. You had both, but you gotta
and I'll
pick
have
one.
both again.
You
I
gotta
want
pick
both.
one. You gotta pick one.
I don't have
You won't? Okay.
I want both. I want both. I want both.
What is say for asexual over there?
Okay, so the Webster definition is...
Don't laugh. Just say it.
Huh?
Yeah, trying not to laugh with it.
Why you say that?
We don't
I'm not
we don't
laughing
wanna
at the definition, but
Okay.
Oh, your source.
involving or reproducing by reproductive process, parentheses, such as cell division, spore formation.
Okay, that's the
fission.
scientific.
Yes,
That
yeah.
ain't what we talk about. What's the other? We got any more definitions? We got any
Produced
social?
by asexual reproduction. So that's why I was
Do we
confused.
have any definitions in a social concept? That's what
I'm
I'm
gonna have to
asking.
relook it up.
Okay.
But that's why I was confused, because when I've always heard asexual, I thought that was like whatever that can reproduce on this, that don't have to mate to reproduce. So when you're like people are asexual, when the fuck
Okay,
that
well,
come
yeah.
about?
Yeah, no.
But
That's
I
why
think
I'm
it
trying
does.
to-
I
that's
think it
why I'm
also
trying to figure
means
this thing
no,
out,
no.
because
that you don't like. I thought it meant you don't want
humans-
to be with a woman or a man.
Yeah, it was always my understanding it was a person who just has no desire
The
to...
first definition actually says lacking sex or functional sex organs.
That might be.
That
true
could
too.
be...
So
That could be...
If you don't get
They have
the
no
parts,
desire,
yeah.
nor
If you don't
do
get the
they-
parts, you ain't gonna
if
have the
you-
desire.
But see, that's what I'm saying. Like, not having the parts is different than saying, "Well, I just don't want to do it, so I'm ace."
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I got it's
all
the
shit
lack
be-
of sexual attraction to others. Google or low interest in sexual activity. You don't want to do it with
You don't
nobody.
wanna do it.
You don't want to be touched.
We're different.
Us humans.
We're different. We come in lots of colors and flavors and shapes and sizes.
What's the topic, dudes? Because
We said, what's the topic?
You
lost.
Asexual just threw me off.
We were at the black women duped. Are they duped? Have they been
Oh,
duped?
you were saying there's a bunch of different types of
I'm
women.
thinking
The
just
young-
different women.
The young lady was saying life was easier for y'all than traditional.
Perhaps for some women it were.
relationships.
I know I have a lot of women in my family who were traditional, and I have a lot of women in my family who were professional. And so I've seen it both ways, and it's to me it's a preference in what you like. And
Can you explain professional?
so all of my dad's sisters were nurses,
Oh, okay.
full-time
They went to work.
RNs.
Okay.
RNs, not CP, not RNs in a hospital. So if you know a
You ain't
nurse,
talking down on the CN.
no, I'm just saying if you know nurses, they are real. You know, they can tell a story about the workload that they do in hospitals,
My
but they were
sister's
all
a RN.
professional.
My mother-in-law is a RN, so my look.
So I'm sure you've heard the
Her mom
stories.
is a RN. I get it.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you've heard the story.
I just never
They're
heard someone
professional.
call
My
them
wife's a
professionals.
RN.
It was just threw me off.
Yeah, no, they are professionals.
That- you don't
yeah.
consider
No, I'm
that a
saying,
professional?
what
That's
I'm
a
saying
profession.
is, I feel like she's saying those are like modern women.
No, these were my aunts. They're not modern women. I mean, these are traditional. These were women. He asked me about example of professional women in my family that I was talking about. And that was the all at one time to be a woman in a profession. You could be a teacher
A
or a
nurse.
nurse or
But were they
laundry.
traditional or modern?
I
And
guess
that's you threw me
I
off
would
saying
think they were modern,
professional.
right?
I feel like
I
the
would think
ones
they were
the
modern at
ones
the
who
time,
were
'cause
teachers,
they had jobs.
Yeah, the ones who were teachers and nurses, they were considered more modern women of the time because they were in jobs. But it was a time in this country when women had to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they said, "Okay, ladies, now go back in the house," some women said, "No, we want to continue to work." So, you know, traditional, we have called on women to work when we needed this country needed women to get in these factories and pull up our sleeves and work. You know what I mean? So I think it's just oversimplified to say, "Oh, we had it so much better." It was just different.
Yeah,
It was just different.
It's different. We evolving. Anything else over there?
Nah, I ain't a woman. I ain't gonna try to
You're not a woman. You ain't gonna try
try
to
to
weigh
act
in.
You was fucking slickster. So, don't forget to follow the Facebook.
Yes.
Follow the Instagram. Follow the TikTok. Shout out to TikTok. We had 11,000 followers on TikTok.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Hey, shout out to
Very
y'all.
nice.
Shout out to the comments. Y'all definitely got us
Yeah,
lit.
keep it coming.
The YouTube is up to 400 subscribers.
Hey,
Let's
Very
go.
nice.
Lit.
Very
hey,
nice.
To my boy who asked if we was educated on certain stuff, well, not just to you, but to people. Period. Don't assume that we don't know what we talking about when we discussing these things. I'll be the first person to, like, I just looked on Google about this asexual stuff. If I don't know, I'll
We
do
got
some
Google
research.
right here,
Don't
just
just
like you guys
assume
at
we
home.
just out here don't know nothing about nothing and trying to finesse talking. Like, nah, that's not that. That's not it at all.
To me, this shows a little insecurity. You know, like,
Maybe,
they
yeah.
just like to make assumptions about us. We don't know
Yeah.
shit. We don't know what we're talking about. We're not
Nah,
qualified.
We're not those people.
Yet you're watching
Very
us.
educated.
And you're commenting.
Yeah. And we're educated, whether you believe
You
it or
can
not.
read your comments.
And as you guys can see, we all about the hustle. We coming every week. Every week we come and bring it heat. We got more coming. We definitely need to do our after dark special.
Yes.
I want to do that.
Yes.
We gonna
Can
make
we have
that-
Shay on with that one? Shay, you'll come and do it with us.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's go.
We gonna have to cut that.
I can't go be able to come to that one. Call us
Hey,
something.
only the real fans are still listening right now. Only the real fans still listening
I
right
ain't gonna be
now.
able to feel for that one.
That was a metaphor. That was a metaphor.
Don't
No.
pay Deuce no attention, baby.
I'll be
Yeah,
on
man,
one C,
it's just-
she'll be in that C.
The most uncut. We ain't cutting shit. We leaving it all. Peace out.